You know, today I have a lot to say. Today I have a lot to say, and I have a lot of negative things that I'm going to say, a lot of hateful things I'm going to say. So I am going to start this video off with some positivity. Pistons, great win over the Knicks. Tobias Harris and Asar Thompson and Dennis Schroeder carried offensively in the first half. They all ended up having phenomenal games, especially Asar Thompson, who, if I am correct, let me just check and make sure, but he should have ended up. Oh, Cade ended up as the leading scorer, but Asar Thompson was right behind him. 8 for 10. Tobias Harris, 6 of 13, 3 for 5 from 3, 8 boards. Asar Thompson, 7 boards. Um, I'm not about to get into the Tim Hardaway Jr. stuff right now, bro. Because, like I said, enough negativity is gonna pull up. Malik Beasley, you still can't hit a three. I have to because you deserve criticism. Malik Beasley, you want to show up just once, just have one game, please. Lord have mercy. Have one game where you shoot 40% or better from three. Just one. Just one. The Pistons have won 2 games in this series, and you haven't talking all that trash on Twitter. Somebody said Mikhail dropping 44 Thursday. He's talking about some what minutes, buddy? You haven't done nothing to be talking trash. That's like when Jalen Green's over here talking about, well, all Draymond does is talk. Brother, Brandon Pajemski dropped more points in Game 4 than you have dropped in 3 combined games of this series outside of Game 2. Just got people talking, man. Like, I respect the fact that if you're gonna, I respect the fact that you're still willing to talk trash even while you're losing in the series. At least I respect that, because a lot of people don't do nothing but talk trash until they're up. But man, dude, you got to do something. Tim Hardaway Jr., I'm giving you a pass because you had like a good half, I think it was last game, and then you had a phenomenal game three. Or game two, I don't know. You had a phenomenal. I think it was a game three. You had a phenomenal game, so I'm gonna give you a pass right now. But hey, great win for the Pistons, man. Phenomenal win for y'all. Cade Cunningham didn't have his best game, but in the second half, he was absolutely phenomenal. Almost dropped a triple double. Good for him. Josh Hart was hooping for the Knicks. OG and Mitchell Robinson were both hooping for the Knicks, and Mitchell Robinson was in foul trouble. Didn't get like, you know what I'm saying, starters minutes or anything like that, but he did have a really good game. He did have a really good game. Gave the Knicks a lot of really good minutes in his 23 minutes off the bench. Great for him. Had a double double. I think the broadcast said it was his 3rd ever playoff double double. So good for him, man. Brunson had a terrible game. Was struggling. I'm not going to get into the foul betting and stuff like that. Let me just put it to you like this: he went 4 for 16, dropped 16 points, and 7 of them was free throws. Okay. Cat was struggling and he was in foul trouble again. I feel like he's been in foul trouble pretty much every single game this series. He was 5 for 14, 17 points, minus 12 on the game, plus minus. It was really bad. And then randomly he splashes a 3 from 30 feet with 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter for the second game in a row. Insane. Knicks couldn't score when Brunson and Hart went to the bench in the fourth. I'm not sure so much that was really Josh Hart as much as Brunson being out, but him and Josh Hart both had like some injury stuff go on in this game, so I hope both of them are okay, and I hope both of them are good to go for the next game and for the remainder of what this series and the playoffs will have in store for them. Dude, Mikal Bridges. So one thing about Tom Thibodeau, man, is he if he trusts you, he'll show you that, because Mikal Bridges missed like two straight shots late in the fourth quarter, and then out of a timeout, the first thing Tom Thibodeau does is gives him the ball, draws up a play that's going to get him the ball for a corner three with like literally 22 seconds left on the shot clock, fading, hand in his face, splash that hole. I mean, he had a solid game. So, like, you know what I'm saying? He showed that Thibodeau showed that he believed in him. Thibodeau showed that, hey, those last 2 shots you had, those last 2 missed shots, they don't define you. You had a really good game, or you had a really solid game. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna splash this 3, and that's what he did. The Pistons, the second to last inbound play that they had of the game, they damn near didn't get the ball in. That was terrifying. And then OG Anunoby comes right down the court and hits an absolutely phenomenal 3. On the next play, the Knicks get the ball after that Mikal Bridges phenomenal 3. OG hits a phenomenal 3 over Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham played phenomenal defense. And I was really like, no way the Pistons are about to sell this game. And then the Pistons foul Miles McBride around half court to get him to the free throw line. He misses the first one, and then from there, game was over. The Knicks almost rebounded the ball because Cat tipped it out, but they didn't quite get it. There was no one where Cat tipped it. Pistons won the game. We're going to a game 6 in Detroit on Thursday. I'm excited to see that because I think I picked Knicks in 6. But I am interested to see if the Pistons can make this go 7, because if they do, We'll be saying some things about the Knicks. Magic and Celtics. Franz had a good game. He ended up, having not as great of a second half as he had a first half, but he had a pretty good game. KCP damn near had his best game of the season, and he didn't even do it. When I looked at this and when I wrote that note down, I think he was like 3 for 6, and it wasn't like 3 for 6 from three, just 3 for 6 from the field. And he's been that bad this season that I was like, oh wow, and he ended up 3 for 9. I take everything positive back. I said KCP, just hang it up. You won 2 rings. You were a great piece on both of the teams you want to ring on, especially on Denver. Hang it up. Tatum had his best game of the series. KP was playing well for a good portion. Didn't end up doing that much overall in the game, but he was playing well for like the first half. Jaylen Brown was playing well. And then in the third quarter, Tatum and Brown took over. Kristaps Porzingis made some free throws. Sam Hauser, who hadn't really, I don't think he had scored in the series, had a good third quarter, and the Celtics just ran away with it, and then they just continued that in the fourth quarter. It was over. They dominated the second half. And the one thing I was about to write in my notes was that I was really, because I was very confident the Celtics were going to win that game even when it was close. But one thing I was going to write in my notes was how I still just hadn't been impressed with the Celtics yet. And like I have been saying for like the last few videos with them, I'm not impressed. I hadn't been impressed with them, but I kind of understood it because like Drew Holiday hadn't been playing and Tatum missed a game and whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then they go out there and they have their best game of the series tonight, so good for them. Now we're going to get into the negativity, and I'm going to start with Clippers at Nuggets because I have a lot more to say about Bucks at Pacers. Let me just start this off by saying every time that I try to believe, that I try to put any faith in the Los Angeles Clippers, man, no matter what year it is, they disappoint me. James Harden, in a game where y'all have in a game 5 where y'all have the chance to go up 3-2 and then you have the chance to close the series out at home in game 6 if you win this game, you went out there in 35 minutes and only put up 9 shots. You were 3 for 9. Only had 5 assists. Kawhi Leonard had more assists than you. Kawhi Leonard was 8 for 15, almost had a triple-double, 20 points, 11 assists, 9 boards. Don't get me wrong, wasn't his best game. You couldn't help him out more. Zubac, 27 points, 11 for 15, was his best game of the series. Even though he didn't rebound the ball, it was his best game of the series, especially considering the fact that Jokic was held to 4 for 13 for 13 points. I don't give a damn if he had a triple-double. You held Jokic to 4 for 13 for 13 points, and a part of that is the fact that he didn't have to do a damn thing because in the entire second, well, they were up for 10 for the majority of the first half, and then the second half, they just ran away with that hoe. And a lot of that was because of Russell Westbrook and Jamal Murray, who we're going, and Aaron Gordon, who we're going to talk about in a second. But I want to start with the Clippers. James Harden, you couldn't do nothing. Norman Powell, you were a guy that throughout the whole season, if you would have been eligible, I was saying you probably would have gotten my vote if I had a vote for most improved player. You go out here and you haven't had a good series at all. You started the game out decently. You hit the only 3 for the Clippers in like the first quarter. And you finished the game 5 for 12, 1 for 5 from 3 with 12 points. I'm disappointed. Chris Dunn, you had your best offensive game of the series. 6 for 7, 3 for 4 from 3, 15 points. You couldn't hit a shot in game 4, and you hit them today. Great job. Bogdanovich, who hadn't scored in Denver this entire series, had his best game of the series, or at least in Denver, had his best offensive game of the series tonight. In the first half, was doing great things. He ended up 5 for 11, 4 for 8 from 3 for 18 points, was the Clippers' third leading scorer. The fourth was Chris Dunn. James Harden, Norman Powell. James Harden and Norman Powell, man. James Harden, I was giving you so much credit through the first 3 games of the series. I was saying how you hadn't been a playoff dropper this year, like how you were with Philly and how you have been throughout your career. And then you come out here in the last 2 games and you give the Clippers absolutely nothing offensively. Last game, you had 11 assists, whatever. This game, you didn't even have 6 assists. You didn't have those. What are you out there for? What did you play damn near 40 minutes for? Tell me. You went out there for an entire class period and you didn't do nothing positively for your team. You didn't do nothing, bro. You didn't do a thing. You had more free throws made than field goals. You attempted 9 shots. You attempted 8 free throws. What am I supposed to do with that? I picked Clippers in 7. Denver's about to win this series after firing their head coach with 3 games left in the season, with Nikola Jokic having one of the worst series shooting efficiency-wise that we have ever seen from him since he's become an MVP caliber player. With Russell Westbrook missing a game, with MPJ not being able to lift his shoulder for a game, you were up 2-1 even though the Nuggets had home court advantage, and then you're now about to choke. Oh my goodness, and mind you, in game 1, they had a 15-point lead and choked that. We were talking about through 3 or 4 games of this series, you were some Russell Westbrook clutch shots and an Aaron Gordon tip-in miracle from sweeping the Nuggets, and then you come out here and just stinker. Every time I pick the Clippers, every time I have any faith in the Clippers, bro, I had the Clippers going to the Western Conference Finals in one of my brackets, dude. They can't even make it out of the first round. Dude, I am so disappointed in the Clippers, man, because how do you go out here in a game where you have the entire opportunity to go up in the series, and then you have the opportunity to not only go up, but then you go back home with the opportunity to close that hoe out, and this is what you do. The Nuggets have started out better in every single game this series, it's felt like, and they did that today. Aaron Gordon and Jamal Murray were hooping early, and guess what? They continued to for the whole game. Jamal Murray went out there, you would have thought he was playing the Lakers. 17 for 26, 8 for 14 from 3, 43 points. He dropped almost as many points as Harden and Zubac, the leading scorers for LA tonight, dropped combined. Aaron Gordon went 7 for 11 for 23 points. Michael Porter Jr. didn't even do nothing special, but he was still efficient. 5 for 10, 3 for 5 from 3, 14 points. Russell Westbrook off the bench. I'm talking about immediately as soon as he came in the game, he was frying. He had hit like 3 threes as soon as he came in the game, damn near. He was frying. He couldn't miss. I think he started out 5 for 8 total from the game. He couldn't miss. The Clippers defense couldn't stop a cold. The Clippers couldn't hit a 3. Harden and Kawhi didn't do a damn thing in the first half. The Clippers were trying to attack the paint early. Let me tell you, it didn't work. And you went out here and you let Russell Westbrook off the bench in 25 minutes, mind you. He didn't play 40 minutes. He played 10 less minutes than James Harden, and he went out there and went 8 for 15, 3 for 6 from 3. He shot better from 3 than not Bogdanovich. He was 50%. Congrats. Then Norman Powell, James Harden, who didn't hit a 3, and Kawhi Leonard. He shot better, hit more of them, and shot a better percentage from 3 than all of those guys did. He hit more threes than Norman Powell, James Harden, and Kawhi Leonard combined for. He scored 21 points off the bench. Hey, the series is over. The series is over. The series is over. I am so... I don't know that I've been this disappointed. These two LA teams right now, I don't know that I've been more disappointed in my life with teams that I wasn't even a fan of than I am of these two LA teams right now, and mostly the Clippers, because with the Lakers, you just kind of have been able to tell the Timberwolves are the better team. But with the Clippers, dude, you looked like the better team throughout pretty much all of the first 4 games. And you were still tied 2-2, but we were giving you respect because of the way that the Clippers won those games. We were like, that's not sustainable. Oh, and then in Game 5, when you have an opportunity to go up, and teams that win Game 5s, I think the stat is like 80% or even more of the time they win the series, and you go out there and you lose by 20 points. You let up 131 points. You are one of the best defenses in the league with one of the best two-way players of all time, with one of the best defensive coaches in the league. Your team has done a better job of guarding Nikola Jokic, the best player in the world, who hasn't looked like the best player in the world for most of this series besides like last game. You've done a better job at guarding that guy over the last couple of years than any team in the world. And in this game where Nikola Jokic only dropped 13 points on 13 shots, only making 4 of them hoes, you lose by 15. You lose by 16 points in this game. You were down 20 for damn near all the second half. I don't even know what to say. And then we go to the Pacers and the Bucks. And let me tell you, I wasn't watching the first 3 quarters of this game. I was cooking. I was doing school and stuff. And then me and my girlfriend, I'm about to start cooking dinner for her while she's on the show. She's on the couch watching the new season of You. I am in the kitchen, and I'm cooking dinner, and I'm watching the Numbers on the Board podcast. Shout out to y'all. Love the podcast. I watch almost every episode. Congrats on getting Adam Silver on. That's big time. I'm watching that, and then I'm looking. I'm checking ESPN because I'm like, Bucks and Pacers has been close. Let's see if I really need to watch it. And I go and I look, and I see that we're in the last couple minutes of the game, and it's a very close game. And the first thing I see when I tune in, one of not the first thing, but one of the first things I saw that I when I tuned because I was box score watching, right? So I have notes. Every Buck was hooping early. Nimhard had a bad start and had a bad game. Tyrese Halliburton wasn't aggressive enough for most of the game, but then I tune in and he was scoring. He was doing everything for the Pacers down the stretch of the fourth quarter, and then in OT that continued, which we'll talk about that OT in a second. I see AJ Green having the game of his life. Gary Trent Jr. started out like what 0 for 7, and then ended up having a great shooting game. We'll talk about him. And he was scoring in OT and in the fourth quarter and everything, man. He had scored like all of the Bucks points in OT almost. But I see Kevin Porter Jr. take a mid-range shot with I think a minute and a half, maybe even less left in the game. It might have been like 40 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And I'm thinking, why do you take that shot? You have to give the ball to Giannis, and then on the other end you let Halliburton get a dunk while you're guarding him, and it's just a lapse defensively. And I see that the Bucks starters have essentially played the whole game. The Bucks haven't gotten a damn thing off the bench. And I see that TJ McConnell was absolutely huge off the bench for the Pacers. And I see that Siakam's having his worst game of the series. And I'm thinking, oh, the Bucks have this one, bro. You are not going to sell a game where Gary Trent Jr. is having the second half and OT of his life. And AJ Green is having the game of his life where Siakam's having his worst game. And Tyrese Halliburton's not doing nothing. And Nimhard's having one of his worst games of the series while Giannis is still hooping. I'm like, y'all aren't selling this game. And then we get to overtime, man. The Bucks were up, 7 with 40 seconds left in OT, and you lose? You let them go on an 8-0 run with the last 40 seconds of OT, and I'm talking about, bro, there's 40 seconds left of OT, and AJ Green shooting these free throws, and the stadium over there, Gainbridge Fieldhouse, is absolutely silent. Even the announcer said something about it being absolutely silent because we're like, man, the game's over. They just choked this game away. Now you're giving it back to Giannis. And hey, one thing about Giannis, if he got a chance, he gonna take it. They might have tied this whole up 3-3 going back to Milwaukee. I doubt it, but it's Giannis Antetokounmpo. The same way I'm not doubting Jokic, I'm not doubting one of those top guys in the world. I'm not doubting Giannis. And then after AJ Green hits the free throw, I think he went 1 for 2. He went 1 for 2. After that, it was Nimhard. He comes and he gets the ball and he pulls up from damn near the logo. I'm talking about when he shot it, I'm thinking, and he pulled that hoe, and that should have been what I should have known. As soon as he hit that shot, I should have known. Because then the Bucks get the ball, and they trap Gary Trent Jr. on, like, the wing, but he's really on the side. Like, it's damn near the corner. He's trapped on, like, the wing corner area on the sideline. He tries to throw a pass, can't get out of it, and he turns the ball over, and then Halliburton gets an and one layup. And I'm thinking, nah, no way. And then, I don't know who threw the pass, but Gary Trent, it's not the best pass of all time. But Gary Trent Jr. standing there, there's nobody within 3 feet of him. And the ball hits him. And it goes, I'm talking about he's standing there, and he reaches down to try to catch the ball, and it goes right through his hands, right out of bounds. And then Tyrese Halliburton comes down on the other end and hits a layup. And the Pacers won the game. And then after the game, Tyrese Halliburton's dad is on the court talking all types of trash to Giannis. You got Giannis going up to Benedict Mathurin, and I'm thinking he had just showed respect to Miles Turner. He just showed respect to some other to some other Pacers. So when he's grabbing the palming the hell out of Benedict Mathurin's scalp, I'm thinking he's talking respect. This is brotherly love. Hey, man, even though he just lost the series in a heartbreaking way, while he did all he could every single game of this series, he didn't have one bad game. I'm thinking he's showing love, showing respect. And then they start pushing and shoving out of nowhere. I don't even know what that was all about. I don't think anybody ever found out what that was all about because Tyrese Halliburton's dad took over the show. And I'm not with what Tyrese Halliburton's dad was doing. I don't need to talk too much about that because Tyrese Halliburton himself said he wasn't with it. He said he's going to reach out to Giannis. So those two, I'm sure, will be fine, whatever. Because Tyrese Halliburton was even, he literally said in the post-game presser, I wasn't rocking with what my dad was doing, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to reach out to Giannis, try to, mitigate things the best we can because we're all grown men here or whatever. Good for him. Good for Halliburton. Giannis is gone. And I saw somebody on Twitter, Giannis's wife posted something on Instagram. It's like a picture of her and their kids with like these. It's like a whole Bucks fit on. It's like Giannis made. It looks like a custom made piece from like a Bucks fan, or at least or a Giannis fan. And people are saying, "Oh, he's definitely not leaving." That seems more like a farewell post to me, buddy. Giannis is gone, and now we got to start thinking about, well, where's he going? And the reason I am so confident that he's leaving isn't necessarily because the Bucks haven't done a damn thing in the playoffs since 2021. It's not necessarily even because of that, that's tough. But I think I said earlier in the season in a video that if Giannis lost in the first round again, people were going to start saying some absolutely blasphemous things, and I'm fully expecting for that to happen, even though he doesn't deserve it. But that's not the main reason I think he's gone. What prospects do the Bucks have? First of all, something I forgot to say earlier because of the hate I was feeling towards the Clippers. Damian Lillard, get well soon, man. I hope you can make a full recovery. It is an absolutely terrible injury you have, man. The torn Achilles, I can't imagine how tough that is for you. Praying for you, praying for your family, praying that you make a fully healthy, full, speedy recovery, man. I hope you're okay. I hope you can be okay. So, besides Dame, who's going to miss probably all of next season with an Achilles injury, and he's already, 34 at least? Outside of that, what's the point? You don't think that AJ is going to become anything special? No disrespect, he had a great game today, but you don't think that he's really going to become he's not a Cooper Flag level prospect. He's not a Wemby level prospect. They traded their first round picks. Kyle Kuzma ain't young. Brooke Lopez is ass. Bobby Portis ain't young. They can't do anything. Not only do they not have the pieces now, they don't have anything to go get any pieces either. They're not going to have any money. They're one of the most expensive teams in the league already. What can they do? And I just don't see Giannis being the type of person that's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to stay loyal here forever. They tried to get Dame for me. I'm just going to stay here, even though we're going to be terrible for the foreseeable future, maybe for the rest of my career. One ring's good enough for me. No, I don't think he's going to do that. And I can't blame him if he doesn't, when he doesn't, because I don't think he is. So where's Giannis going? I don't know. Could he go? I'm not with the Miami. What's different in Miami? What's the point of him going to Miami? Now there are teams though, like the Rockets, who are probably looking to trade Jalen Green for a big name if possible. The Grizzlies, who need to come into the season with a completely different look next year. The Timberwolves, even though they look great right now, you never know. Because Julius Randle's still a free agent this summer. You never know. And Naz Reid, free agent this summer. You never know. So people saying the Warriors, I think you're delusional. People saying the Lakers, I think you're delusional. Even though after what happened this year with the Luka Doncic trade, I can't really say that you're delusional, but I think you're delusional. But if I'm Giannis, dude, if I'm a Bucks fan, I am heartbroken at the way that if this is the end of the Giannis era in Milwaukee, I don't think it could have ended in a worse way. With his co-star tearing his Achilles, with his team choking in an overtime playoff loss against a team that has become this team's rival over the past 2 years. That's not, mind you, a division rival at that, and you lost them in the playoffs for the last 2 years straight. Oh my goodness. If I'm a Bucks fan, the Giannis era damn near couldn't have ended in a worse way other than, I don't know, some scandal happening. Just nuts, dude. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for watching, man. I'm excited to see what goes on in the Warriors series. I'm excited to see what goes on in the Lakers series. Even though I do believe both of those series are over, I believe the Rockets-Warriors series that plays tomorrow is a lot more over than Lakers-Timberwolves, so we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe both series in tomorrow. Maybe neither of them does. Maybe just one of them does. You never know. But yeah, man, all glory to God. Thank you for watching. Share it with a friend. Let me know where y'all think Giannis is going. Let me know if y'all think Giannis is going. And 2 series ended tonight, man. Pacers are moving on. Celtics are moving on. And 3. The Clippers aren't moving on. Clippers, man. I can't believe the Clippers. Goodbye.